Hello friends, my name is Brad Beard, owner and winemaker for Mercury Wine. Welcome to Cooking with Brad. And on today's episode, we're going to be doing my crispy duck breast cassoulet. It is a take on the classic French cassoulets, but it doesn't take 3 or 4 days to make. I specifically created this dish to pair with my absolutely fantastic Tempranillo. This one happens to be my 2017 Tempranillo. But I created this dish for a fantastic dinner series that I've been doing with my good buddy Jim Ricard called Dinner with Brad and Jim. If you want to know more information about that, I'm sure there's going to be a link below. Or just to go to info@mercurywine.com and you can find out all the good stuff there. But we have this fantastic cooking series where we make these fantastic dishes with our beautiful wines. But let's go ahead and get things going. So for this dish, the other thing that's going to be in the link below is the recipe for this, but you know that. So the first thing you want to do is have a very cold Dutch oven. Second, prep all your stuff, but I haven't prepped the duck breast completely yet because they're nice and dry, they're thawed, ready to go. But you can see there's a lot of extra fat that's running around there. And the duck breast has in between the skin is very fatty, and I think that's why most people don't enjoy duck, because you have this weird fleshy thing going on. So I'm going to eliminate that by making sure that this duck breast is trimmed properly and then cooked properly so that the duck breast is incredibly crispy. So all we're trying to do is eliminate that fat that's running around the outside, easy stuff. So no big deal. Just get that stuff off of there. Anything that's sort of hanging over the top when you can see it upside down, you want to get that off. If you like fleshy duck breast, please leave it on. Enjoy yourself with that. But I really do prefer it all to be nice and crispy. And it's also going to be cooked in a way so that it stays that way. It's just really awesome. There we go. All right, we've got all that extra stuff. Save that. It makes excellent grease for cooking lots of other things. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get these fancy breasts seasoned up. I've already got my coriander, some salt and pepper, my smoked paprika, and I believe there's some onion powder in there as well. I think it was about a 1/4 teaspoon of each. So I'm just going to get these guys seasoned nicely on both sides. And I was in a little bit of a conundrum. Typically, you can see one of these breasts is a lot smaller than the other. Typically, all the duck breasts I've been getting around here in Northern California from our organic farm, they were giant, like Costco pterodactyl size. But this is a little bit small, so I was thinking about adding a third breast. So if your guests are going to be extra hungry and they're small like this, definitely throw the third one in. But for today's purposes, I think we're going to be okay with these two smaller ones. And it's really not going to affect the cooking time that much. All right, just want to make sure that you're covering all the surfaces just like normal. Anything else that you're going to be doing. And I like to kind of pat it in there just so that it stays nice. There we go. Especially that paprika. That paprika in the duck really is nice. Okay, I've got my duck breasts all seasoned up. I'm going to go into a cold Dutch oven. The reason why it needs to be cold is because we're going to render that fat out very slowly. So I'm going to put it in cold. And then I'm going to turn it on. And I'm going to, probably should turn that on first. And I'm going to put it on low to medium. That's high. Let's get that down a little bit. We're going to lower that down because what we want to do is, with the skin side down, we want that fat to render out slowly. If it was in a searing hot pan, it would just sear the outside and it'd be really difficult to get the rest of that fat rendered out. So we're going to be doing that somewhere in the 5 to 6 minute range from this low temperature. About halfway through or so, you'll see the fat rendering out. And then once the fat starts rendering out, and you can turn the temperature up a little bit to make it go a little faster. But if you're worried, just keep it low and slow, and you'll know when all of that fat's rendered out. Okay, I'm going to have a little glass of wine. If you haven't had Tempranillo, a fantastic Spanish grape. Of course, this is grown here in the United States where I'm at and where my winery is. rich, luscious grape, a lot of figs and a lot of plums and some earth and spice. Just absolutely gorgeous. It's going to go great with this. So, all right, guys, give me a couple of minutes. I'm going to let the fat render out a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, my friends, I've just turned up the heat a little bit. As you can see, we've got 3 or 4 tablespoons of fat that is rendered out. That's absolutely perfect. We are looking really good, and because there's paprika in there, don't be confused. If this had a little red hint to it, it doesn't mean that it's actually crispy, but you'll see those nice brown, well, you know what brown is versus red, but there was a lot of paprika coming out in mine, and so I've got this beautiful, come on now, I've got this beautiful crust building up. I'm just going to give it a couple more seconds on the bottom, not necessarily necessary. I've just always done it this way, so that's the way it's going to go. All good. One thing I don't have, my friends, is when we go to move this dish in a minute, I'm going to need some hot pads. I got my staff paying attention to me. That's awesome. And then we're ready to go. So, all right, these guys are coming off. We're going to get this into the oven here in just a second. Come back, Danny. Oven time. Here, JJ, hand that to Danny and ask him to put it in the oven. All right, so now we're going to get the onions in here and the carrots and the celery. So I don't need to add any fat. Why? Because I put all that wonderful fat in there from the duck breast. So we've got the little trinity of the carrots, the onions, and the celery. We're going to let these guys reduce just a little bit. I'm going to switch over so I don't scratch my fancy pan. There we go. And I had a little bit of my mixture left over that I seasoned the duck breast with. And I don't know why I don't want to add a little more to there. I think that'll be nice. All right, we're going to let these guys sweat down. We're going to be trying to get that fond. Everybody knows what the fond is. It's that wonderful caramelization that we've got on the bottom of the pan. We're just going to sweat these down for a minute or two. We got a second, so we can probably enjoy a glass of wine. Ooh. Thank you, Danny. All right. So we're just going to get those guys sweated down. And then the next thing I'm going to add is the garlic. And when you're adding garlic to a really hot pan like this, you've got to be a little bit careful that you don't burn it. You just need it to wake up and start relaxing, but you don't want it to burn, because if you burn the garlic, there's no way you're going to get that out of the dish. All right, I'm just going to let that go for another couple of, maybe a minute or two, and then we'll add the garlic. Feeling good. Whoa, got some escapees there. So as the onions were releasing their water, it pulled the fond off. Now it's building a new fond back on. We just want to get these guys a little bit toasty is what we're looking for, because they're going to break down while we're cooking this whole thing. Oh, smell the paprika, the onions. I think we're doing pretty good. Grab a little garlic, 6 cloves, keeping score. Oh, and after you're keeping score and didn't want to read what the recipe was, that was about a half a cup each of the celery and the onion and the carrot. So now, like I said, this is really important that I'm paying attention. That garlic is going to go very, very quickly. We don't want that to burn. So once I have that garlic where I want it, I've got my chicken stock right here to stop that cooking process immediately so it doesn't burn. I can kind of smell it's very toasty. Oh my God. I think I'm supposed to add sausage in here first. Why did I stop myself? Holy cats. Oh my Lord. I think we're going to be okay. All right, my friends, even a professional like me who has cooked this dish many times, I got excited, drinking way too much wine, forgot to do my sausage. Holy mackerel. It's not going to ruin anything, though. So, hey, if this happens to you in the kitchen, it's not a big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this sausage going really fast. I'm going to finish cooking the sausage. Off the side, my carrots, my onions, and my celery are completely fine, resting for a minute or two here while I get this sausage done. So we're going to get this sausage going. Give me just a couple of minutes. It just needs to get brown. browned. No big deal. We'll get the sausage. I'll dump that back in, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, my friends, I've got my sausage just about complete here. Here's an extra step. If you screw up and don't do your sausage first, you're going to now have all this beautiful sausage fond down here. We don't want to lose that, so I'm going to go ahead and deglaze it real fast. So my sausage, nice and crispy, looking good. I'm going to turn it up just a bit because when you're trying to get that fond off, if it's hot, it will go faster. So that's looking pretty good. We're going to put a little chicken stock in there. There we go. All right, so I'm just adding extra steps and having to clean more dishes, which is never the thing I like to do. I love the fact that you can do most of these things just in one pot. All right, there's a little bit of sausage hanging out there on the side. Threw it over the top. I've got my pan is nice and clean now. I'm going to add that. Perfection. Turn this down just a little bit. Oh, pan, look at that, nice and clean. Why would you want to scrub dirty things off when you can deglaze? All right, I probably should use these mitts so I don't get burned. There we go. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay, now through the magic of television, we're back and everything's looking really good. I've deglazed this pan, I deglazed the other pan. I've got my sausage in there. And now I'm going to add the rest of my chicken stock. I'm going to go ahead and get this turned up because we're going to want to have this come up to a pretty much a a high simmer, almost a boil when we're going. Now let me see. I'm going to read my notes here really quick. After I've got my sausage done, my onion, I browned, I charred 30 seconds on the garlic. I just added my chicken stock. Here we go. I'm going to add my turnips. Here we go. Turnips, white beans. Got my turnips going. Got my white beans going. Looking pretty good. Oh my gosh, got some leeks. What is that one? That one is that wasn't a leek. That was the one that tastes like anise. I think, no, this one's celery root. I think we've got one more on there. That was the fennel. All right. Get all of that going, making sure we reserve everything behind. Okay. All right, we're going to bring this up to a boil. And then once this is reduced a little bit and we've brought it up to a boil, we're going to get it into the oven. So hopefully your oven's set at 350 already. So we're going to give these guys just a little bit of stir. All right, this is going to take probably 3 or 4 minutes. We'll bring this up to a boil. Things are going to reduce. We're going to lay the duck breasts on top and then pop it into the oven. All right, looking pretty good. Looking like I didn't have a lot of room over here. Did I forget anything else? Let's see what's going on over here. I think I've got enough room for a few more beans. There we go. And I actually don't want to lose out on that turnip because I really enjoy the turnip in there. And that's going to be nice. All right, I'm going to bring this up to a nice simmer or a little bit of a boil and get it reduced. I'll be back in just a second before we head on in and get it in the oven. All right, my friends, I don't care. I screw stuff up all the time, but that's how I was able to fix it. We got the sausage browned. The sausage and all its goodness is in there, so everything's awesome. I've got a little bit of a boil with the juices coming together. As you can see, as I was thinking, my pot wasn't big enough, but gosh dang it, it was just big enough to put it in there because we don't need much more room for this. All we need to do is add the duck breasts and get this thing going. So, fancy duck breasts. Look at these guys over here. And now that these have all shrunken up, I should have done the third duck breast. But like I said, I don't have a huge crew to feed today, so we're going to be okay. So we've got these fantastic duck breasts. I'm just going to turn this off because it's getting a little bit furious. And beautiful crispy tops. So I'm going to lay that right down on top. Look how beautiful that is. And here's the deal. If you don't add the accumulated juices, I don't know what is wrong with you. Oh my gosh, accumulated juices. We're going to get all that flavor. All it is Flavor Town in there, folks. That is some good stuff. Put a little bit of fat back on top of this duck breast, so that'll get a little bit more of a glaze. So we're going to finish cooking these guys. and everything in the oven. I'm going to cover it for just a few minutes. I'm going to put it into the oven at 350. In about 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to check the temperature of the duck breast. And if it's getting close and my beans are looking pretty good, I'll pull the top off and let it cook the rest of the way so that those duck breasts can stay extra crispy. All right, my friends, I'm going to get this into the oven and I'll see you in just a few. All right, here we go. Holy cow, everything's looking absolutely fantastic. Oh, that is hot as can be. My glass is ready. That's awesome. All right, folks, we're back. Oh my gosh, I gotta set this over here. So we've been in the oven now for probably a little over 20 plus minutes. My beans, I soaked them overnight, but they were a little crunchier than I liked them, so I let it go a little bit more than I wanted to. And I also should have done that third duck breast because my duck breasts were just way too small, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. They still look absolutely fantastic. They're extra crispy. They're looking so good. And like I said in the recipe, there's still a lot of juice running around in here. So you see, you got a lot of juice back there. That is perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to add, oh, I think what we should do first is, yes, what we should do, go ahead and crush some of those beans up, because with that extra juice, what you want to do is just hit a few beans. I'm going to maybe a third of the beans I'm going to try to break open, and that when I break them open, the starch is going to pop out. I can see it thickening up already. We've got the beautiful, oh gosh, see, so we had all that juice that was left over. It is now getting a little bit thicker. All right, I'm just going to mash just a few more. And then, hey, my good friend JJ, could you do me a good favor? Would you go grab the top to this, with this here, because don't burn your fingers. I need to shut this baby down again. So, all right, I've got my juice. It's thickening up fantastically. It's only going to take a few more minutes for that to get done. We're going to add a little bit of onion because we want some nice crispy fresh onion in there. The green poblano. The only reason why I threw that in there was because we wanted to get some color, because this dish doesn't have a lot of color. We're going to throw our celery in there. So we're going to get our little blend. We're going to mix that up. And JJ is going to be so kind to, once I get this put down. All right, that's going to continue cooking for the next 4 or 5 minutes. I'm going to take my duck breasts, and I'm just going to let them relax. They need to cool back down and let those juices relax. Then we're going to slice those up and be ready. So we'll see you in about 5. Thanks. All right, my friends, we are back. I've got my everything ready to go. I've got my breasts have relaxed. I've got my cassoulet that's looking absolutely fantastic. My juices are blending, so that's making it just beautiful, more stew-like, and I believe that's what they're talking about when we're talking about cassoulets. We added those vegetables there at the end just to give this very bland looking dish, once everything is cooked down, a little bit of lively color. So that's fantastic. So I'm going to put this lid back on for 2 more seconds because I need to cut up my duck breasts real fast. And I will point out that I've got the smallest duck breasts on the planet. Apparently this was a duckling, not a regular duck, and I should have used all 3. That's why they put them in there. But that's okay. We're going to go ahead and kind of cut this at a nice little angle, so it's going to look pretty as we're, oh, look at that guy just flopping over there. Looking nice. So we're just going to get some nice cuts here. All right. Simmer down there. Don't you fall off there. All right, the whole point is to have that crispy duck breast on there. Maybe I should sharpen my knife. All right, super fantastic. Looking good. There we go. Very nice. That worked out a little bit better. There we go. Oh, come on. All the way. Seriously? All right. There you go, Mr. Duck Breast. You're looking really nice. All right. There we go. Got our duck breast cooked. Everything looks fantastic. The temperature's great. Let's just make sure that they're tasting good. Because right now, if they needed it, you could put a little extra salt on there. No one's going to know you didn't salt them perfectly. Not any more salt. Mine are just right for the salt. But hey, you want a little more salt, but you always want to double check. And I'm going to double check this too. I just want to make sure that if I need any salt right now, I don't want to salt or pepper or anything to adjust. Okay, so my celery is nice and al dente. My carrots, they're done. Oh man, those wonderful root vegetables have given me these wonderful background spices. Absolutely fantastic. Yum-y. And it's going to go so good with that earthy duck. Don't forget we've got that spicy sausage. So we're going to plate up a nice portion here. Oh man, that looks great. Get a little more. I don't know which one looks better. Actually, the red is looking kind of nice. I think the blue's going to look better with the duck. We'll see. Oh, get off there. There we go. Beautiful portion. And then we'll go ahead and take our breast and we'll fan it out across the top for a nice presentation. Right now, you'll be calling all your guests to go ahead and sit down because dinner is just about ready. All right, don't come across. There we go. And, oh, seriously, Brad, cut through it next time. Oh, that's looking really, really good. I didn't bring a fork, but I'm going to have this with a spoon. I've got a couple of small pieces in there. All right, my friends, we're going to sit down, have a little dinner. It's absolutely fantastic. I hope you see how beautiful this looks. Those nice bright carrots, you know, because they we added them at the end. The celery, the green poblano is making it look fantastic. We've sipped the wine. We've enjoyed the wine. I'm just going to go ahead and dig in. I'm not going to be able to cut the duck there, but that's okay. I'll still take it, though.